It's only 2021, but I am just super excited to be here. It is, I believe it's Friday night. Um, that's another thing I usually don't know what it is, but yes, it is definitely Friday night. And I got to tell you, it's like the story of Haps um, is that hello, Richard Scott from the Bronx. Hello. Um, it's like Kismet. Like they should have just called Haps Kismet because I met Olivia Robinson here, middle of the week. Reached out to her on Twitter, and within about 15 minutes, we had a show scheduled. So it's fantastic. Let's just have Olivia come on in. And hey, Olivia, how are
Hey,
you?
how are you? I'm doing well, thank you. I've had a grand day thus far. How are you?
You know what? I just am fresh from a nap, and which is what I do before every show, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Read the 7-year-old associate producer a bedtime story, and so he's all ready to go. And I'm just super excited. I really like some of the things that you're doing that I think have a really kind of unique angle. But before we do that, let's have you introduce yourself a little bit, and then I kind of want to talk about maybe Pepperdine and activism and some of these things that kind of build up to what you're doing. But you can go ahead and talk about what you're creating and stuff right now, so that's fine.
Definitely, for sure. Thank you so much for having me, by the way. My name is Olivia Victoria Robinson. I grew up in Palmdale, California, and I currently live in Austin, Texas. I graduated from Pepperdine University just this past year with a degree in integrated marketing communication and rhetoric and leadership. And one of the fun things I did last year was I started a business called Black Dollar, which is basically a business that serves an app that helps people find Black owned businesses all over the US. And this app is something I've been developing for a while. I launched it a few months ago, and just been helping people find Black owned businesses. And I feel like that's part of my service is just helping to seek liberation, economic liberation through whatever I can. And even though this is a small step in that direction, it's a step that matters and a step that will get bigger and bigger as my business expands.
Well, I think I just want to run with that last statement because I think it's really important and interesting. Did we determine the the black economy of is about 1.5 trillion? Is that right? I think. Does that sound about
Yeah,
right?
so right now the spending power of
Right, spending
the
power.
Black community was projected to grow to the trillions this year.
Hmm.
And I believe it was the New York Times or Forbes that projected that number just a couple years ago. And so spending power within the Black community is huge, but the circulation rate of a dollar within the Black community is much lower. So the circulation rate is basically how long a dollar spends time within a single community. So for certain demographics, such as the Asian demographic or the Jewish demographic, the dollar will be within that community for days or even weeks. Whereas within the Black community, a single dollar circulates for only about 6 hours. And so the spending power of the Black community is quite large. However, putting that money back into our own community is at a significantly smaller circulation rate.
So it comes in to a local business in it, it doesn't even, I guess, just in a black community, let's say, doesn't even necessarily, are we talking black owned businesses or just black communities at this point?
Black owned businesses. So
Okay.
whether that business is within a predominantly Black community or not, if
Or
it's owned
not.
by a Black person.
But it immediately goes into somebody else's pocket that isn't a black owned business, more or less, or a black owned bank or anything.
Correct.
So,
And the longer a dollar is within a community, the greater the impact it has. So that's why it's important.
right, it's working in the community, right? So if it goes to another business and they expand, they sell more stuff. That's how it works for sure. So the number in my head is something like only 2% of businesses in this country are black owned. Is I hope it's a higher number than that, but do you know what that one is?
Um, the last I checked that, which was a few months ago, it's around that number. It's a very small
Yeah.
percentage of businesses within the
Right.
US are black owned, but the good thing is that number is growing and has been growing for quite a while.
Well, that's good too. And I think access to capital is something that even the mayor here in Chicago is basically trying to hold the banks hostage. She actually held a kind of was like a forum they were going to hold, and she invited 30 of the largest banks in Chicago, 30 of the largest banks in Chicago to attend, and none of them showed up. You know, she basically had put out there was like, you're not going to get to do certain kind of business with the city unless you change your, you know, lending policies. Now, they all sent representatives, right? But none of the officials came, right? The CEOs that she invited, you know, they just sent a
Right,
lackey to read a letter or something. So we're still not there. We're not, you know, I mean, this is good that it's increasing, but you know what I mean? But that we're really not, still not there. So we're going to talk about this much more. And if you want to add another thought, you know, let's do it. But how did you get here to this point where you're, you know, trying to increase, you know, the ability of black communities or black people to, you know, to keep money in in those communities. So how'd you get there? How'd you get here?
right. I think there's a lot of ways I could answer that question, but
We answer them all
I
if you
think
want. We got time.
I think much of my life has just been dedicated to seeking social justice. And oftentimes that has revolved around many different aspects, whether that's racial justice, environmental justice, um, religious pluralism, and just creating um, more space for access, more space for inclusivity. And I think this was one of the first times when I was very intentional on revolving my focus around economic liberation. And so I would say much of my time leading up to this was dedicated to other forms, whether social, societal, and addressing different levels of systemic and institutional oppression. And in the last few years, I've learned a lot more about how economic oppression has very many levels on how that impacts people and communities. Just because living in a capitalistic society and considering how classism, but more than classism, it's more so greed and covetousness that is at the root of a lot of oppression. Just because most oppression is tied to materialistic gain. And so diving into addressing economic oppression, I realized that there are a lot of things that compound what creates economic oppression. But as you take those layers away, there's a lot more opportunity for liberation. And so I figured that this was my way to um, work towards liberation on another level. And so in preparing, which I did not plan on starting my business last year. This was a future goal of mine, and the timing just seemed right. And one day I just woke up, I watched her webinar, and I was like, today's the day, I'm getting started. And it just ended up being the right time because in um, in the few weeks after starting my business, that's when you had the atrocious murder of George Floyd, and you had the news of Breonna Taylor's murder coming out, and more people learning about the importance of liberation and what contributes to people being oppressed. And so I think just the timing of that, even though this has been an issue for decades and centuries, more people were paying attention to it. And even though I didn't do this for the sake of it being a hot topic at the time, I think there's been a greater awareness level that people have reached that have made this a powerful time to be in this.
The what do you think about the the competition that's tried to do this before? And there are apps, right, that
Hmm.
are similar. What's that arena look like for you and marketing and all these kind of things?
Yeah, so I think some people hate when I respond this way, but truly I don't see other apps and other businesses that are doing this as competitors because if the goal is to
Nice.
increase traffic into Black businesses and we're all
Hmm.
working towards that, whether someone finds a new Black business through my own business or
Hmm.
through someone else's business or app, then we're all accomplishing the goal.
Wait, though,
From
Olivia, that doesn't sound like capitalism. That's
well,
that's more like cooperationism. I don't know
yeah,
what that is, but I
and
like it. I like it.
it's it's unfortunately foreign, to a lot of people, but at the end of the day, my goal, my sights are set on helping people, helping my people, and that's what
Mhm.
I'm after. Now, from the business perspective, I do look at what other apps are doing and what they're not doing, so that way I can fill in that gap. I can access more people and educate more people along the way. And so I've learned how to do that in my marketing as well as in how I structure the app and communicate what it represents and what it's here for.
So I'm feeling like I have this thing. It's I'm gonna call it resting I look tense face. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna say the other thing, you know what I mean? But like it's
Mhm.
kind of like I just need to like just like shake my head or something. Like my face just feels like knotted up. So I'm gonna try and relax. There you go. But yeah,
No
Eleanor's
worries.
going like, just get it out. But I was looking at myself. I'm like, man, you look kind of angry, dude. Chill out, because I'm not. I'm totally relaxed. So,
It's all good.
so I love that. Oh my gosh! Like, I am going to talk about that a lot. I love that. You know, have you had any chance to interact with other of these similar? And I know some ways that you're different, and I'm very excited about that. But any of these other similar apps, have you guys had have you had a chance to speak with any of them or anything?
Not yet, not one to one.
Hmm.
I've spoken with other people who work with these other businesses and apps, but never
Hmm.
directly with these other apps. I think I'm still developing my platform, but also there hasn't really been a conversation around, hello, we're both doing the same thing.
Right.
And maybe that conversation will come. I'm open to it.
It'd be
I hope
cool.
they have the same approach as I do in regards to cooperationalism.
Yeah, I think you could, once you get established, probably if and that's what you decided to do. Certainly, I would definitely want to, if it were me, I would definitely want to hear from them and kind of spread that message of, hey, we're all in this together. That is really cool. Gee, other businesses, that help people, maybe you could think about that a little bit. Maybe
Hmm.
maybe Olivia needs to run your company then there or your companies and then spread that message. But she's like, no, I have one to deal with right now. So all right, so let's peel it back even a little further. You just graduated from Pepperdine.
Yes, sir.
And I can tell you're a very proud Pepperdine alumni. You are very proud of Pepperdine, right?
We'll take that with a grain of salt. I I
That's
don't know how
interesting.
too far you
Okay,
want to
go
get into
ahead. No,
that.
don't. Huh?
In all honesty, I love where I graduated from. I'm
Uh huh.
grateful to have been able to attend such an institution. At the same time, it comes with its flaws, and I feel as though I
Ah.
spent my time there speaking on that. And I spent my time there seeking changes, and I feel as though my time was worthwhile because people who come after me will have certain things that it's not that they won't have to deal with
Uh
them,
huh.
but there will be more awareness on people who can solve those problems for them. And
That's
so
it's
I hope
interesting. Yeah,
I hope my
because
time there was well spent in that regard. I would
well,
love
that's
to say
very
it
interesting
was.
because I definitely when I was looking, looking you up a little bit, I saw a lot of involvement and stuff, but of course, I saw that as a connection, to the school because I'm just looking quickly, right? But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it is a connection to the school. It's just that the school wasn't doing things which, shocker, you might not agree with. So that's pretty cool. Did you um so give me what your degrees or what your minors were, like it was rhetoric.
Right. My minor was rhetoric and leadership. My
Mhm.
major was integrated marketing communications.
Ah, integrated marketing communication. So probably that is coming in handy for starting a business.
Definitely. Um, I would say that major is kind of like a smorgasbord of marketing, PR, and advertising, and
Uh-huh.
I'm head of all of those right now for Black Dollar.
And CEO, and yeah, who's doing your app development it itself?
So right now I'm working with this company called Buildfire. They've been great this far. They've been super helpful. There are a lot of app businesses that white label from Buildfire, but Buildfire is the developer of the software that a lot of other developers use to create your apps.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
that there's a whole layer, and like a middleman developer. Yeah, they have those
Yeah.
for website development too, that you can
Hmm.
white label it, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That and give us a little bit of an idea of what you think. Where do you? I know it's tough. You hear this question, but where do you think you're going to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Not so much like I want to have 30 million users or whatever, but like the impact you're hoping that it can have in communities, and maybe how that would, how that might organically come together, or how you're going to help drive it that way with your marketing.
Right. It's ironic that you asked that because I had this idea of what 5 years from now would look like in regard to Black Dollar, yet a lot of that has happened already, in regard to things I've been able to implement into it. So I've had to start thinking a little bit bigger than I thought I was thinking. But I would like it to be able to um, be a more than just a database, but also be a space for networking.
Mm.
um, I see the app having this impact where you're able to analyze, okay, how many people have found this business through Black Dollar? Being able to trace the actual impact that Black Dollar is having through data. um, and there are a lot of variety of ideas that I have for functions, but in regards to impact, I really see this app growing to be a space where people use it as a tool, as often as they use Etsy, where they'll be able to actually look for a product, look for a service, and just go on there and find the direct person who can offer that product or service. Um, and I want to move more to um, kind of like a marketplace app, but less
Mhm.
so like a marketplace and more so like a meetup place where you can go to Black Dollar and expect to find the businesses that will best serve you. And I think that will impact people's ideas on Black businesses, but it'll make it more intentional for people as well, just because it simplifies everything. I think we're on our way to being able to have that impact as well.
I think that so kind of what I'm seeing here is what you're saying is almost like a as opposed to and I'm sure this functionality will be there, right? But as opposed to finding out that there's a black business at Third and Main Street somewhere, not only we probably be able to do that, but you'll be able to buy products that they might sell online. They have their own shop, and you can be directed to that as well. So in a sense, because I don't think people understand what Amazon really is. Amazon is they are now obviously a huge um they actually now fulfill products, right? They have for a long time, but you order a watch, it's fulfilled by Amazon. That means it came from China, through the chain to Amazon, and Amazon delivers it to you. But they also have lots of affiliates, and people don't realize that when they go to buy that watch, it's not being, Amazon's taken it the last step, but it's coming from a separate company. So
Right.
in essence, what you might have set up there is, would you are you considering kind of that kind of pathway where the people selling stuff would be directly integrated with your business and that, or is it more of just like a locator?
That's a possibility I've definitely considered. At the moment, people can see the business that's near them or type in a business and directly get to their website. But in regard to having the space where you can go directly to their site straight through Black Dollar, or being able to order straight through Black Dollar, that's something I do have in mind. But I
Mhm,
would also want people to have a degree of security, as well as having a degree of autonomy in that, just because I want businesses to be empowered. I want businesses to feel as though they're able to represent their own image on the app, instead of
mhm.
um, having that, having
Well,
more competition for them.
and that's
Um,
kind of like that Etsy thing too that you mentioned, right? That
exactly.
it could be, everybody has their own Etsy store, right? And so you can
Hmm.
kind of brand that and decorate the virtual uh, building there in the way that you want to. So,
Hmm.
what about um, who are your who are your biggest fans in this?
My biggest fans in this.
Hmm.
You mean like fans of Black Dollar, fans of me?
I, who's like, yay, do this, or very supportive or whatever. Like, who's out there that that's showing you a lot of love about this and that you appreciate it.
Yeah, I would definitely say my friends. I think they've just been the biggest supporters and encouragers through all this. They've heard my complaints with this. They've seen the bad times of it. They've seen the good times. So my special thanks to my friends Heaven, Peyton, Devin, Chanel, Romello. I think they've been the greatest supporters in this. They've given me a lot of great ideas and feedback. They've told me when my ideas aren't the greatest, which I really genuinely appreciate, just because everybody needs somebody in their corner that's going to tell them, I think you should think about this a little differently. So I appreciate them for that.
It's
As
nice.
well as my mentors.
So you kind of have your own like a focus group of your friends.
Yeah, to a
Like,
degree,
yeah.
I would say that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty nice to have somebody to give you some good feedback. I think I can't imagine too many businesses that wouldn't benefit from, a really good a set of people to just spiritually, emotionally, kind of back what they're doing. So, what is the are you launched yet, or is it where are you at?
Yeah, so we're launched. We're available on the Apple App Store as well as the Google Play Store. We're active right now. The app is going through some developments on the developer side, but it's still, you're able to download it. You're able to see what's on there. It's just going through a refresher right now. But people are able to find businesses near them. It'll show you what's near you. You can browse by category if you want to look at restaurants or barbershops. You're also able to go to the mobile businesses site, which, or the mobile businesses tab, which is basically not necessarily just online businesses, but also businesses that don't have a permanent location that you would need to go and visit, such as a caterer. So basically, people who you can still locate on the app, um, but they don't necessarily have an address that you would ever need to visit.
Yeah,
We
I like that.
also Thank you. We also just launched a few weeks ago our store. So we have the app for the sake of helping people find Black owned businesses, but also the path to economic liberation requires empowerment through knowledge. And so our store incorporates ebooks, courses, educational material that will help people understand what they could be doing to increase their bag. So whether that's an ebook on entrepreneurship or side hustles or getting your credit
Right.
right. If it's on saving, there's a lot of opportunities to basically learn no matter who you are. Oh my goodness, is that your baby?
Yeah. Say
He's so
hi.
cute. Hi.
Yeah, he's in and out pretty quick. Um, she says hi, bud. He says hi. Let's see. I just I realized that you can on this new MacBook you can download iPhone apps. Now I just have to figure out how to show it. Hold on a second. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, application window. That one. Oh man,
I
look
put
how
it over in the
fancy.
comments.
Oh yeah,
There we
no, I'm
go.
showing the actual app. This is
Oh,
the
okay.
app. Well, this is a first for me. This is awesome. All right, hold on. Now, let's see. I have to swipe up though, so we might not be able to get any further than this because um, I might not know how to do this with an app on. Let's see.
That's okay. I actually hadn't known about there being a release onto Macs. So it's
Yeah,
available on like tablets and phones, but
no, it's
that's
not
great to
on
know.
Mac. It's not actually on Mac. That's the iPhone version, and
Okay.
so it's running on there, but it doesn't like I don't know how to like tell it to like you want to swipe up when you start. I have no
Hmm.
idea how to make it do that. So, but
Yeah.
there,
And
I
also that's
go
the
ahead.
refresher it's going through right now on the developer's side in regard
Gotcha,
to like the startup screens. Um,
gotcha.
but
But yeah,
yeah,
you don't have to worry about it for like the Mac. Although they probably could have one that would work on here, but um, yeah. So okay, the mobile. Are we talking like people that maybe they what do they sell? Like what would be a typical like maybe they sell something from their home, they don't have a storefront, or they maybe go to festivals and move around. How does the mobile thing work?
yeah, so that could either be an online business that sells clothing and they're black owned, but there's no storefront and you still want to
Okay.
order from them. Or it could be like a food truck where they might be all over the place sometime. So putting them on the map might be a little bit more difficult, but putting them on the mobile site, you can just click their website and find out where they are that day. And so mobile business is basically businesses that aren't always in one place or don't have a specific place, a physical location for you to visit.
The what is the best thing about being in business? And we'll ask the other thing in a second, the opposite, but what's just the best thing about this so far?
Um, my favorite part has been connecting with businesses and learning from them, um, and being able to help to find different avenues, and it's just been a learning process. I feel like in this almost 1 year since I started, I've learned as much in this 1 year as I did in all 4 years of college, just
Mhm.
in being autodidactic and constantly learning and reading new things, just because I want this to be a good experience for people. I want to know what people are looking for. And so the research component of it and having this vast space to dive in and learn new information has been amazing, and I feel as though I'll be applying that no matter what other ventures I go into. But also um, I feel like I've learned other questions that need answering in this process, and so that gives me more ideas on what other things I could be addressing.
What are those within? Well, you're not in competition, but I think in the in kind of that kind of teachable moment, what are things that you've kind of learned that you might be able to share? I'm directly thinking because there'll be a lot of people that will watch this on the replay. I will put this out to kind of my networks are the nonprofit I've been involved with, and in fact, I was trying to get my really good friend and founder of the nonprofit that I've been with here for, gosh, it's going to be it's 8 years, so we're coming up on a decade, to see if she could join in. And she's putting the kids to bed, so but she would enjoy meeting you. I know she would, because I want to put this out to the various networks and stuff that we're involved with too, so that they can see this. And the yeah, what are those things you've discovered?
Um, yeah, I think a lot of people who support Black businesses already often have the knowledge on the importance of it already. And a lot of other apps, a lot of other websites that show Black businesses present their material with the assumption that people already understand the importance. And
Mm.
so, one of the things that I try to do in my communication of Black Dollar, what it is and why it's important, is basically breaking down and presenting to people why they need to be supporting Black businesses, why Black economic empowerment is important. Just because you could say support Black businesses, and yeah, that sounds great. But when you give people the reason and apply it to themselves and apply it to their communities, no matter whether they're Black or not, then you're able to give them just another more reason to buy into um, the goal of buying from more Black businesses.
And you're doing that also. Did When we talked, did you mention you were doing some things around education or seminars, or you were going to incorporate some of this stuff too, right?
Yeah, so right now, like on blackdollarapp.store, which isn't necessarily the website that will have the app, but it's the website that has the materials. It basically has the ebooks and courses that people can get information on starting a business or building their own personal finance.
Hey, Abyss. And do you see that as, from your integrative marketing perspective, do you then, I guess you're anticipating that with association with the app, with someone discovering the app, they kind of have to be educated a bit about why they need to use it or what its effect will be? Is that
Um, well, I mean, they could, or even if they have no idea, they'll learn along the way with how Black Dollar approaches it. Whether it's through notifications, whether it's through all the information we put on our Instagram, people will learn the why for Black Dollar. And even if they don't know yet, but they're getting there and they're on the path to understanding, they'll still be able to use it and understand its importance, and also get some great value out of some amazing businesses.
Hey, Frank. Hey, Abyss. The Yeah, I'm like, I think this is just a really cool concept, because putting that education out there, because I've come across these apps a few times, and we have, even with the nonprofit that I'm involved with, there has been this kind of desire to have a listing of um, resources around, let's say, health, wellness, mental health, these type of things. Are you strictly at this point going for businesses, or are you going to be able to offer direction to kind of other kind of services as well?
Right. So with the categories that we have on Black Dollar, it's not limited to places that you would just buy products from. You're also able to find places that would offer mental health services, um, legal services, dental services. There's a lot more than just products that you would get on a daily, or services like grooming services for your pets, or beauty services. You can find a variety of spaces on Black Dollar, and for Black businesses that we don't have a category for, we'll make one for them. I think that's one difference with us as well, is that we want everyone to have a space to have their product or service make its impact with people.
Oh, that's really cool. Do you think how do you? I'm so curious about how are you getting these businesses to know who you are and sign up, and it's Is it word of mouth? What's kind of your strategy? And how can anybody who's out there now or watching this, how can we help you do that? Right? How can we help you, spread the word? What's already in your bag of tricks, so to speak, that we can help support?
Yeah, so there's a lot of data out there already. So just having Black businesses that are out there and just being able to find them and get them on the app was the initial approach, which was really helpful just because, um, a lot of people aren't going to hunt down the data. But when you hunt that down and you put it on an app, people have it right there for them. But even with that, there's going to be businesses that we miss or new businesses that appear. And so, one thing we do have is on our website or in the links on our social medias, you're able to fill out a form that will give us your business information that we'll be able to upload with our subsequent uploads of businesses. And so, in that form, you'll let us know who you are, who your business is. Even if it's not your business, but it's a Black owned business that you're
Gotcha.
still able to fill out that form
Oh, very
and give
good.
us the details on it that will enable us to put that on our app and help people find out about the business.
Sorry, I'm only laughing because I'm thinking to myself because Eleanor definitely helps with the technical directing, and I have somebody that helps with the booking, and and I often refer to RevMac Live and what we're doing as us. But I'm like, it's not that big of an us. It's pretty small. Is that meaning that you're doing most of this work yourself?
Yep. That's what it means.
So
You know,
no, us is appropriate because you're multiple things. Your marketing, your distribution, you know what I mean?
yeah,
You're
I
your
mean, like,
accountant and all
it's
that.
accurate. I mean, I'm every woman. That's what Whitney
Yeah.
and Shaka said. So, but
I love it.
you end up learning all the parts, and there's been help along the way. That's been a
Mhm.
big lesson. When people offer help, take it. And
Hey, that makes sense.
yeah, I've been very grateful for that. People offering help through little tasks, but also just assisting me along the way. So I've been very grateful for that.
I think that, I like that. If somebody offers help, take it. Yeah. Like, what do you know? Oh my goodness, that's really cool. Uh oh, great, good job, Eleanor. Let's see. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's can you, Eleanor, show a little bit of her TEDx talk there? Well, I'll let you set that up. It's on those links that you just sent. Um, yeah, that's perfect that I saw that, and I'm gonna look at some of those other links too. So, hmm, English language is really, it's not very sophisticated, and we have a lot of words that have multiple meanings, and you have to be careful with certain words in terms of context of how it's gonna make us feel, but so I don't wanna say, mm, like, oh, now I have to say the word, but it's just like, is there a sense of like maybe responsibility or, um, I don't, it's not obligation, but like for younger women coming up behind you, like you said at Pepperdine, things that, we're going to be changing. Like, what does that feel like right now to be a woman in business and be like, I want to teach other young girls, young black girls or black boys or, to do this kind of stuff. Like, has that started to impact you yet about kind of spreading the business message to other younger people out there?
Definitely. And I would say I think that's also just part of who I am and my purpose is equipping other people to do what needs to be done. And so even though I would say there's no pressure extrinsically for that, I feel as though that's just what I naturally gravitate towards is to empower other people to be on board with the things that will make an impact. And so I would love to have a protege to help empower and teach these things that I've learned along the way. But at the same time, I'm still developing in this and still learning it on my own.
Yeah.
But even in that, I feel as though I still have a lot that I've learned and a lot to offer, that will help other people. And so, um, there is definitely the need to make sure that, whatever I know is given to other people. Um, the philosophy of each one teach one is really important, just because whatever mistakes I learn from, I can keep someone else from going through those same mistakes. And so, um, yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree that there is a responsibility, and I would say that, even though I'm not mentoring anyone currently on how to do this specifically, I would say I still, um, offer myself in helping people, learn this, as well as assisting along the way and being someone who people can ask advice from, as well as being a resource to get my hands dirty and help along the way with whoever needs whatever.
Oh, cool. And Eleanor, if you could bring that up, and then I want to talk about networking a little bit when we come back here for a second. Just run it for a couple of minutes of her intro there.
Love is what brings us into the world. Love is what sustains us with daily provisions, what obliges us to defend others, what reminds us to preserve ourselves. For many, love goes where love already is. But for the radical lover, love goes where love is not. One of the places we don't too often find love is within confrontation. So, what does love as a confrontation strategy look like? How can something we associate with affection and tenderness be powerful enough to combat something as provocative and antagonizing as oppression? The message that we must amplify is that we must allow our love for our community to surpass our hatred for our enemy. In order to have the most profound impact on the forces and obstacles that anyone fighting for a just cause will encounter, we must aim radical love towards these three things: towards self as a defensive strategy, towards cause as an offensive strategy, and towards enemy as a resolution strategy. If your opposition is people or a system that hates you, you must balance their hate for you with love for yourself. By loving yourself, you further realize the degree to which you don't deserve to be subjugated to the burdens of your enemy. This energizes the creativity needed to combat the obstacles that your oppressor has presented. Now, in terms of societal issues, the self not only includes you personally, but also the groups with which you associate yourself. According to renowned psychologist Gordon Allport, the self could not be itself without the groups with which it identifies. Consider Tarana Burke and the Me Too movement. Me Too is this expansion of self because it acknowledges something shared, a shared pain, a shared torment, a shared journey. It is this Ubuntu notion that what impacts you impacts me because we are one. By expanding this notion of self, we are expanding the breadth of our self love. And this, in turn, broadens our perspective of who all is impacted by our cause. In realizing how much self there is to love and how much self is subject to our opposing force, we realize how much power we have to fight for our cause. This causes love to be a catalyst for an offensive strategy. Your cause is what motivates you to keep moving despite drastic counterforce. You are not going to put up with all the opposition you're going to face unless you absolutely love what you're fighting for. Love is what drives the commitment. And what would be the purpose of committing to your cause if love is not present? But beyond this, to love your cause is a direct act of resistance because the goal of your enemy is to prove that your cause is not worth
All
it.
right.
To continue to love your cause,
Eleanor, can you
even
just
as your
pause that?
oppressor
I'm not
attempts
sure
to
if they can still hear it in the audience or not. Thank you. That was great. The activism, the intensity for the love of your community, the change that you hope, I think, to help drive and love and radical love and um, that was kind of what I felt when I was looking into you and reached out to you to be on here, was that um, there was a lot more behind the Black Dollar app than just, you know, helping some people sell some stuff. I mean, there's there's a passion there for the Black community, and I think probably, for women, and there's a lot behind that. What does that what does that feel like as it relates to kind of to starting a business, and what are, I think, some of the pitfalls that you've seen in doing this? What are the things that even, white supremacy or, any of these constructs, have in making it difficult to be a Black business owner?
Um, I think that's a big question to address, but let's do it. I think when you look at the heart of why Black Dollar exists, it's a a stepping stone in the direction towards liberation. It's not the answer. Um, it's not the full, complete um, goal just to help people find businesses. There's a lot more behind it. Just because we're not just trying to help businesses get rich and make money, we're trying to impact families and communities, specifically Black families and Black communities. Because when you look at what's been going on within the Black community, um, for centuries, you see that a lot of what is deemed as stereotypical or deemed as um, something vile is actually a result of what has happened on the outside, whether it's people's intentions, whether it's people's rhetoric, and especially in last recent years, whether it's people's sentiments that are much more vocal. And so I think with having that at the heart of Black Dollar, whether it's Black Dollar itself or whether it's something that comes out of this, um, I think you have to realize that Black Dollar is a participant in the movement, not just the moment, but the movement towards liberation that is going to help people to elevate from a status that is beyond just um, what is and what has been. And we're part of the change. And you asked about the challenges that come with that. And I would say the challenges that come with that um, are far less than the challenges with living with things as they are. And I think what goes into building a mission based business um, is a lot of hard conversations with yourself. And I think I've found that you know, even in connecting it with my TED talk and trying to um, make love the vehicle rather than anger or rather than strife, you find that a lot of times it's difficult to find how you can implement that. Um, but it's always possible, and it's always a component that can be mixed in.
The um, I guess for me it is it's a it's a pretty it's just a really it's just a really great thing that you're doing, and just the different ideas that you have, the different approaches, the idea around education, and 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 from empathy, equity, liberation, actualization, justice, all of these things that I think you're putting in here um, to bring back to the community. I just think it's a fantastic thing, and I definitely want to see how um, you know we can support you. Like I said, certainly when you get to the point where there's like a big um, launch or something, or a change or something, and you want a space to be able to talk about it, or if you even want to have a dialogue amongst your fellow app developers that are doing this same type of work. Actually, on this network, you could do it yourself, but I can always make space available, for you to do those things here, because this is just such amazing and important work. And just like you're trying to put Black businesses in front, right, out
Mm-hmm.
there for people and supporting them, I really believe that even this platform we're on, I know that this platform we're on is definitely developed out there to kind of bring people a way to get their messaging out there that they normally wouldn't have. Because, this is kind of like a mashup of Zoom meetings and YouTube or something. Actually, I think I said it in a tweet today. It was like Zoom meets YouTube and creates like a killer app, like just the perfect app of, social media and empathy. The guys that have founded this, their big thing is to bring empathy in journalism. That is like, they want to transform media and journalism into something that is more empathetic, is more I don't want to say real news, but more community connected. I mean, there's not a lot of there never has been much coverage of Black and brown communities in terms of local news, for example, right? Other than if it's something titillating or um, violent or something like that. You know what I mean? Then of course they run down there with their trucks. But oh, Tony D, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Well, all you got to do, like I did, is ask, and hopefully she'll join you on your show, dude. We're coming up. Oh, we're rounding up. We're coming up to about an hour. Um, Olivia, do you have much more time? Do you want to stay a little while longer, or do you need to get going soon?
I have a little while longer. I could be on
Okay,
here.
good. So, hey, Tony D, you want to come up here a minute? Are you decent? If you want to, Information Man. Oh, that was Information Man that said it, not Tony D. Sorry, dude. I didn't realize that. This is me not. I saw Tony D too as you. Oh, got you. I um, but yeah, you can come up here if you would like to. Tony D, you could come up here if you would like to. Let's give you some invites. Yeah, I'm definitely trying to think like if some of the information that you would like to put out to communities, like financial literacy and those type of things that we talked about. I think this
Mm-hmm.
could be a good platform to do that, with a live seminar once in a while. Or I mean, and the nice thing about this is, it doesn't cost anything, and um, you could you can have people like sponsor your your channel, that you could use maybe to then create more things, uh, to put out there content wise. So definitely play around with this a little bit and think about ways that might help too. But yeah, for
Definitely.
sure, anything that I can do, or that even Haps can do. Remember, like you said, I want to be able to create a new category for somebody, and I would say on a I think we have. I think if you go to the front page, I haven't quite figured it out, but it says 7.1 million something. I don't know if that's users, or it sounds like a really big number, but like compared to YouTube or whatever, I'm sure it's a really small number. So my point is, I think there's a lot of room for growth here as a tool for things other than what we think about, and definitely as a place. Like, are you familiar with Clubhouse at all?
Oh,
Have you heard
definitely.
about? Are you on Clubhouse?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. Because that's where I've been. That I don't. See, so what I do is I like screenshot everybody in Clubhouse that looks interesting. And I have enough for like 30 years for my show. You know what I mean? There's only so many nights in the week. So I've got a ton, but I want to start giving some other people on the network the chance to work with some of those people too. But yeah, Clubhouse is such a powerful networking tool, and there's actually a very big, it's weird. It has like 6 million people, but then it these interested groups coalesce together, right? So if you're watching things in your feed, then the algorithm finds you or whatever. So it's really, really cool. And some of those things that are happening there, I think I'd like, to see happening here. So, if you have any Clubhouse friends, compatriots, people that are working on these exact type of things, send them to Haps, because what I'm trying to say is, although Haps is doing a great job, like most things, there are more white people in the world, or in this, not in the world, not at all, but I mean in America, than other places. So please just invite all your friends to come here too, and see if they can find things that would be interesting, because we need more diversity. Look at this! Oh my gosh, how did we manage to score 2 more guests? Can you let them in there, Eleanor? For some reason, my computer's just being silly today. Thank you. Oh, let's put them in the grid view. There we go. Well, first, let me say hello to Information Man, because we'd never met. So, Information Man,
doing?
I'm good, man. Revolution, nice to meet you. Tony D, good to see you. I want to introduce you to this amazing woman, Olivia Robinson, and I'm just going to let you guys take it away. You probably got questions and everything, so I'm going to shut up for a minute, because,
thank you for letting me come up. I didn't catch your interview from the very beginning, so I kind of came in midstream, and I had a chance to go into her Instagram, some of her social media, and I definitely like what she had to say, her TED Talks, and so some of what you're talking about today, Ms. Robinson, is fantastic, and it's built for what my channel is about. I have an audience. I have a good sized audience over there, and they would love to get this type of information, to hear what you're saying. You're very motivational. It's very powerful information, and it's definitely needed. So that was one of the reasons why I definitely wanted to reach out, because the more we can connect the message, the goals and the aims of what you're doing to as many people as possible, especially within the Black community, is very important. Most definitely.
Thank you. Yeah, let's get something on the schedule.
Okay, most definitely. I will inbox you on Instagram and give you my contact information, and we'll set something up. But it's fantastic. So what's going on, Tony D? It's good to see you too, brother.
Y'all got to forgive me. I'm a little exhausted. I've had a rough 2 days. Ma'am, I just caught a little bit of your speech. You sounded intelligent, sounded beautiful. So my compliments, first and foremost. I will come back and look at this stream again. But definitively, I love what I was seeing and hearing, so I'm going to have to check it out. Rev, what's going on? Information Man, you already know what it is. Check out your YouTube today. I'll put a comment on it so you see what's going on. So big ups to everybody, much positivity and all that,
Okay.
Hey, Information Man, tell us a little more about what your mission is, because you definitely.
Oh, okay.
I would love for you to come back and chat with me sometime. But
okay, no problem. Pretty much on Haps, I do basically a news and talk type program. I have guests on that come up and talk to me about a variety of social, cultural issues. I have a YouTube channel called Information Man Show. I'm a little bit more well known on YouTube than on here, and on there I go in a little bit more. It's a critical analysis type show. Once again, we touch on education, cultural, social issues, political issues, and a segment that I do on that channel is that I bring guests on from all different backgrounds, and it is centered towards empowering and motivation towards a African American crowd, but I do enough content on the channel that there's something for everyone, because that's why I go by the name Information Man, because I try to cover so many different subject matters and bring on so many different guests who have various opinions and experiences. So that's the young lady, when like Tony was saying, she's very intelligent. It's fantastic that you have her up here. Caught my attention, and I'm going to go doing a little bit more research on her as well in her TED Talks. And I definitely got to get her on my program, because my audience needs to hear what she's saying.
Well, and I'm gonna let Olivia speak here. I said I wasn't gonna talk, so hold on. but
no, it's your show. It's your program.
No. But I'm so excited to have you on here, because, like, I want to connect with you and see if we can cross pollinate some guests. You know what I mean? Because right. I'm gonna keep it real. My goal is to help with whatever success I have, to help people that the light isn't shining on,
right.
To get put out in front. You know, I don't even want you to see me, people. I want to put people in front of me, right? And just keep putting them in front of me. And so I kind of get this vibe from people of like, well, dude, you're talking about that, but like everybody you interview is like a white actress from Chicago, and she's, you know, I love Heather Chrysler, don't get me wrong, but I mean, you know, but like, where are the people that you say you're going to be doing? And I'm like, well, that's not easy. It takes, you know, it takes a lot of work to find and develop those relationships. It's really easy for me to have an actor on here who wants to get known. It's just not hard. I mean, all you got to do is ask, you know, and if they're talented, it's amazing. And that's what I've been able to do. But yeah, I want to connect up with you and see if we can cross-pollinate some guests. All right.
I'm more of a community-based type of guy. I like to get people that are grassroots, that are right there in the community, that have their hands on something. So that's why when I hear this young lady speak in the manner that she spoke, I said myself, I've got to connect with her 100%. And I just think you bringing her on here is a good thing, because the more you can mix it up and have different thoughts and ideologies and things, and to me, it's about empowering people. And that's why I think what she's doing and what she's about, and her energy is powerful. We got to empower people. I'm going to stop right there. I want to hear from her.
Yeah, I know we've been lived out of the conversation, so I'm going to be quiet.
Thank you all so much for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think a lot of what I discuss and a lot of what I talk about, and a lot of my thought process comes first and foremost from what I read, but also from what I research and from where I've been. And so while a good portion of that revolves around economic liberation, a lot of that also revolves around, you know, communication practices. How are we speaking to different people? What about the media we consume impacts our perceptions and interacts with other people? And so there's a lot that we could get into, because there's a lot that I research. So
okay, well, I definitely, one thing about what I do on my YouTube program, is that you have to tell the truth. That's a theme that I have running. Everyone knows me over there as a person that wants to put out truth. So I want you to feel comfortable to say things just as they are, based in facts. And that's really what I'm about. So I don't like to handcuff people. Say what needs to be said, based in truth.
Definitely no sugarcoating over here.
No, I can't stand that. And that's why what I do on my YouTube is a little bit more it's a little bit more stronger than what I do on Haps. A little bit more, it's a little bit more in your face type of program. And that's just that's my audience. That's what they like. That's what they want. They want to hear facts, research, and because I do have quite a bit of a Black audience, they enjoy hearing sisters like yourself that are positive, that are putting it out there. And then people are always looking for, what can I get out of this experience that I can use to empower myself, to learn what I'm doing. because supporting of Black businesses is so important. I'm going to stop right there.
Yeah, I think, there's the importance of reaching the audience and speaking to them and finding them where they're
Mm-hmm.
at, especially for a lot of people. This has resonated with them for years, and now you have, it's not just more vocalization on it. I think you have more people who are um, actually getting the platform to speak on these things, which is incredible. I saw
Yes.
the comment. I'm not sure who it's
Yes.
from. I think it was from Frank. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Um, but I believe, meeting people where they're at, but also making sure that the audiences that aren't going to hear this how it is are hearing it as well. Um, just because I
Right.
want them to hear this as clear as day. Um, but at the end of the day, they're not my how do I phrase this? My focus isn't on them. My focus is on the problems that other audiences have caused. Um, and
Open,
I don't
say,
mean to
hey, Olivia,
say,
say it however you want to say it. You don't have to,
When you say
you know.
audience, we need to know.
yeah. I
Exactly.
I don't operate based off of protecting white comfortability. So
Good. There
whatever
you go.
needs to be said gets said.
You're perfectly free to do that here too. There is no, no, yeah, there's no
See, that's
sugarcoating here
why.
either. Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait to get you
Thank
on my
you.
channel. My goodness, my goodness. Hey, Revolution, let me just say this to you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched you on here for a while because
Mm-hmm.
I'm fairly new to Haps. I've been on here for maybe a month.
Okay.
I'm connected with Eileen Smith. She's the one that basically told me about this in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And I've checked out your shows. I've come in and commented. I've watched from afar, and
Mm-hmm.
I like what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. I think it's fantastic. And this platform can only get better. It's in the beta stage. Sometimes it
Yep.
has some growing pains to it. There's some things that get me frustrated, but I still think that Pablo and Peter and everybody behind the scenes that are working on this, they're going to get it to where it needs to be. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it would be good for us to hang in there with this platform
Oh,
because
yeah.
what's going to happen, it's pretty much where YouTube was way back in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a lot of people that are going to come over here after the fact, but it's
Right.
good to build a foundation now. So I
Oh,
want
yeah.
to leave
This
you
is
with
what I
that.
tell everybody. You want to be at the front gate when they open that thing up, because everybody's got to rush through you, right?
Right.
So yeah, we are going to get this opportunity to spread these messages far and wide. I believe in this platform. I evangelicalize, I proselytize about this platform every chance I get, because 8 weeks ago, 82 days ago, I was a dude that had been broadcasting on Periscope, when nobody watched me a lot, doing, political stuff and trying to do some interviews. And somewhere between now and then, some little bit of special magic happened. And even though I don't get, monstrous hits of people watching me, the replays, have been going up and up more, and it's been getting shared wider and wider. And I actually have now people that are coming to me and saying, "Hey, can I be on your show?" Like, what? Like, what? Why would you, how do you even know who I am? Why would you, it's just a little show, but there's a lot of power here.
I don't think you should look at it like that, because one of the things that I've learned, because I've been streaming for a long time. You never know who's watching you. I've gotten emails from people from other countries, so don't underestimate your numbers.
You're right.
Because, like, for example, this is weird. This is how YouTube works. There are times when I could have 80, 90 people watching, 70, 60, 50. And then I end my stream on YouTube in particular, and I've got actually 500 or 600 people that were watching. It's really weird how YouTube works like that.
Yeah.
So you can't underestimate. You might be making a difference in someone's life somewhere. You never know. That's why the interview that you did with this young lady on the program today is powerful, because you don't know how many people around the world are watching, or this may get to in the repeat, that this makes a big difference. You see?
Wow. Yeah, right. Well, dude, you've been in YouTube for a while. I will I will humbly ask you if you would like to take on a mentee. I will definitely swing by whenever I can learn from you, my friend, because this is great. I couldn't have asked for a better evening right now than to have Olivia here and have you and Tony D here. And
I think you two will be an outstanding broadcast team.
We could have some fun. We should do some interviews together.
Yeah, both of you have a voice, and both of you will do the information open to opinions and everything.
Yeah, let me ask something real quick. Information man, is there a reason why you keep it toned down here a little bit compared to YouTube?
It's called knowing your audience. I think the audience here is a little bit, I'm going to be honest, the audience here is a little bit different than the audience that I have on YouTube.
Sure.
Like I said, YouTube is pretty much where I kind of made my bones or pretty much built my brand or my audience first.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm also a podcaster. So I podcast on traditional platforms as well. And so I know my audience in that area. So there are certain things that I can push the envelope with. I just think because this is a new platform, my show that I do over here is more of a straight news type program. Now I will bring up very polarizing issues on here, but I think on my YouTube channel, because I've been doing that longer, I feel a little bit more at home on that channel because I've already have built somewhat of a audience that kind of knows my style. And the truth of the matter is, when you're doing a program and you are kind of being supported by your people, quite obviously, sir, you are going to feel a little bit more comfortable and at home with an audience that sort of can relate to what you're talking about because they're also going through it. So it's a different dynamic. Let me just say that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes very very good sense. The well, I'm glad, Olivia, you've kind of gotten to see the power of this platform where, as my new friend Information Man said, I will have people that will come up and say something because I pique their interest with something, right? It was just a random thing, and they'll be talking about it, and I'm like, oh, cool. And then I'm like, how long have you been watching? 5 weeks, but I've never seen you before. You know what I mean? Like I've never heard of you before. So there is, you're right about that. There's a lot of power there. Go ahead, Olivia. I'm sorry.
I was just responding. I was saying definitely.
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild. Information man. I'm ready to take Haps to a level where, we're all comfortable being whatever we want to be. And I think it's here. I think it's the possibilities are here. And with love, like Olivia was saying at the beginning of this in her TED talk there,
yes,
and understanding and truth and our journey for me, towards actualization. This is a place that we can help manifest that. So I'm very excited.
Most definitely. Once again, thank you for letting me come on board. I'll come on board again. Like I said, I've watched you and I've seen you bring guests on, people that are on Haps and even off of Haps. And, matter of fact, I believe that was a question that was asked of either Peter or Pablo. Will they make it where you can bring guests on no matter whether they are signed up to Haps or not?
Right.
Because if they allow us to have links that we can send out to people, it will expand your ability to bring on people who may not necessarily at that particular time have a sign up on this platform.
Right. And there's definitely a reason they do that. Obviously, they want to increase users, but there's a workaround. Tim David pointed this out. So what he does is he has a second account that he gives the folks just the username and password to the second account.
I see.
He goes in and changes the bio to them, right? And they pop right in, because there are people who won't come on your show because they're like, wait, I got to sign up for something. And I'm like, wait a minute, you got to sign up for everything in this world. But sometimes they don't want to, which is fine. But Tim David came up with this great way to do it. Just open a secondary account, give them the credentials, change the credentials each time, put their name and picture in there, and you're good to go.
Yeah. See, I usually when I bring her on, Miss Robson on, I use like StreamYard, something like that when I'm doing interviews, and then I have other softwares that I use that are very powerful. And depending on when I have a chance to talk to her too, I want to find out what kind of matter of fact, what am I doing? What kind of computer are you using? Because I have other software that are even more powerful. I'm always curious. Are you what type of computer do you have?
Was that for me or was that?
Yeah, that was for you.
Yeah, for you. I'm sorry. For you.
Oh,
I'm just curious.
Me, I'm just using a regular Dell.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, it looks
he
like
fell off.
Evolution
fell off.
Or I think he just needs to be reconnected.
Right.
That might have been me. I was trying to Google your Black Dollar site.
No, it's after 10:30 here, so I realized that I wouldn't break my own rules if I smoke some weed, but I jumped out to smoke a little weed because I don't like to smoke weed during the formal interview. Right. Although I think I snuck one in there behind my mic a little bit. So yeah, that's all that was. Look at Tony D laughing over there. Anytime my network is needed to, because I thought of this. What do you guys think about this? So does this, if I were to come on, when you came on my show, before you were brought in on the video, all of your viewers are alerted as soon as you come into the studio, right?
If you set it up that way prior, when you come in, it'll prompt you, and you can connect your social media, and people can come in and watch. And then, of course, we already know that this will attach itself to your actual page, so everybody can actually watch. Right. Yes.
So I guess what I'm saying is that if somebody sometime would want me to come into their room but not be a guest, but have all my socials hooked up so they got some more power, I'm willing to do that sometimes. As my viewership grows, I'm happy to, if it's an important message that we need to spread, I'm happy to do that too. So, do you guys have a couple of questions for Olivia about what she's doing? I know you came in at the end, but I don't want to keep anybody here too long.
Was it the blackdollar.org or?
Yeah, blackdollarapp.org.
Gotcha. I'm going to look it over. Like I said, it's an honor to meet you. I love what you did. I came in late, but you were awesome with it, honestly.
All of her information is actually over in the comments, guys, if you need it.
I got you, Eleanor. I ain't say hey to you. Hey, Eleanor.
Hey.
So I have your, I'm going to subscribe to your podcast as well. And then I'm going to click your links that you have on your Instagram to the page. And then I'll DM you tonight, my email and all that good stuff. And then we'll usually when I stream on my YouTube channel, it'll be like a weekend, a Saturday or maybe a Sunday, depending on your schedule and what fits. And I'm in the West Coast. So I don't know what I'll find out what time zone she's in. Oh, she's coming back in. So what times? Oh yeah, that's a good question for me to ask now. What time zone are you in?
It cut out for a little bit, but I think you asked time zone. I'm in Central Time.
Okay, that's perfect. So you're like 2 hours from me. I'm in the West Coast. So, all right. Well, be on the lookout for a message in your inbox on your Instagram, and then we'll set something up. So I appreciate you letting me come up. Revolution, Tony D, good to talk to you. See you, brother. And Olivia, you're fantastic. You're fantastic.
Thank you so much. I'll be talking to you soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Pull back. We'll do this again. We'll see what's going on. If not tomorrow night, definitely Sunday. I may come on as well.
Okay, my man.
Most definitely. Rev, you already know you open. Eleanor, I know you got me subscribed. We're going to pop up. We need to have another round table always. I'll be back.
Peace to everybody.
Okay?
Okay.
Yeah,
peace
you two guys, fantastic. Really enjoyed it.
Take care.
See you, Tony. Well, to me, that's like what Haps is all about, but like on 10 right there, because Tony D I love and we've known each other for a little while, and Information Man has flown. Like I've seen him in the stream, and I'm like, I haven't had a chance to meet him yet. So that was fantastic. Do you have any kind of thoughts that you want to share with us, or anything, any feedback, anything, any reflections from you as we're wrapping this up?
Yeah, I'm just grateful for the invite. This has been a great first day on HAPS, so thank you so much for that. Um, yeah, I'm just looking forward to continuing to grow Black Dollar and continue to pursuing its mission, whether that's through podcasts or things that I've been a guest on. I think that's just been something that's been essential in the growth of Black Dollar thus far. So I'm very grateful for this platform as well as the other platforms that were offered to me. So thank you so much for that. I think these have been key avenues for connecting with new people, and connecting with new businesses. So thank you for that. And even beyond just connecting on a business perspective, just being able to have such dialogue on a platform such as this is really impactful for the people who are interested in hearing in such things, or might not be interested in all, but we're talking about what needs to be said. So thank you for creating a space like this.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for saying yes. I know, information man is like, don't be, you don't know the power of everything that's out there, but like, I asked people, like, could you come on my show? And I gotta be, and if somebody was asking me, I'm like, wait, who are you? You're what? Like when? I mean, so, but it was so great to connect with you. And I'm not kidding. Within 15 minutes of getting to connect with you, we had a date and a time set up to do this, because that's how powerful the networking can be. And I gotta tell you folks, the way that you get somebody as amazing as Olivia on your program is you got to ask. You got to the way you get a business to come to your app, you got to ask, right? I mean,
That's right.
nobody's going to jump up here and say, me. Well, there are a few of those, but yeah. Oh, fantastic. This has been really good. I hope you do come back and even do something on the platform anytime you want a primer on it. I'm sure Tony D and Information Man, and definitely myself, we'll show you, how everything works on here. It's a quick study for anybody under like 35 that's grown up, with a computer. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to use. Hey, El Shabazz, nice to see you. So yeah, I'm just anxious for the next announcement that you'll have or something, and you'll come back and see us. So anytime you want to do a roundtable on, maybe with other folks that have these apps, or I mean, I could see like having some kind of like Black Business App Con where all those folks come together and with this idea of we're working together, not against each other, and and making the community bigger. So yeah, it's been fantastic to have you here, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the kind comments that have come in. And thank you so much for that. And I definitely think another opportunity to speak with yourself, as well as other business owners or people who are in the activist conversation, I would definitely enjoy being back again. So thank you.
Yeah, this is just great. Feels yeah, it just feels good to be a part of this HAPS network, and I'm so happy to have you here. I can't wait to see the refresh, and I definitely the reason I'm thinking about this is that I think that maybe the we have this network with our the nonprofit that I'm involved with that we're using to help people because of COVID with resources and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But do you know what's your presence like in Chicago right now with things on the app?
Right now, they're a city that we'll be getting to. So one thing
Okay.
about the app is for businesses that haven't applied, when we're uploading data from cities, we're going city by city. And so Chicago is up next on our list after Miami. But thus far, we've just been going, city by city: LA, Atlanta, New York City, Baltimore, DC, lots of other cities. So we haven't gotten to Chicago yet, even though businesses who are there are welcome to apply, and we'll upload them as soon as we can. We haven't done our targeting yet in Chicago.
Cool. Well, then maybe as that moves along, because I'm thinking we could mention your app in the in kind of the packet of information that people get, or the online information that people get when they're looking for resources.
Mhm.
I could talk to Dominica and see, like I said, when you're ready. So that would help, get more people to you and get more people the services and things that they need, especially around the mental health and those kind of things. We might
Mhm.
even be able to see if we can form some kind of partnership to support each other. So I definitely want to. That's why I was kind of hoping she'd be able to come on tonight. But we'll definitely see, if that can happen too. So, like, super best of luck to you. This is I'm a nonprofit. How could I get help? Okay, well, let's see what that.
Yeah.
How?
So
Yeah.
what you could do is, on our website, we have the form for businesses, and you can submit your business information on there, and we'll get you uploaded. You'll be able to let us know what category you're in, the name of your business, all the information we'll need is asked on that form. So blackdollarapp.org, you'll see the form on there for submitting a business, and we'll get you on there. Thank you so much for letting us know about you.
That's fantastic. Look at that. All right. Liv, it was just absolutely great to meet you. And thank you, Olivia, for sharing your aspirations, which is so refreshing and worth tackling on Black business, take on Black business owners, empowerment, and am all rounded help. Thanks, thanks, Abyss.
Thank you so much for that, Abyss, and thank you so much to all the other commenters. I didn't get to reply to each of you, but I appreciate you all.
Oh, and just so you know, these comments stay live. So even if tomorrow you want to run back to the replay on this and like say hi to somebody or say, oh, you've got a business, people will still continue to comment on it a little bit too as they watch the replays. So yeah, fantastic. It was
Great.
just absolutely great to see you. I think it's 10:42. I think we'll probably just wrap the show up at this point, and I may come back and jump into some other people's shows. So we'll keep you here, Olivia, as we close out. And thank you, Eleanor, for this. Thanks everyone out there in the audience. We had a few awards here. So Abyss, Bernadette, Quake Girl, and Tarot Talk Kelly. Do we follow each other? We do. Okay. Fantastic. And yeah, we'll talk to you again, Liv. Much appreciated. This has been the big interview. And my name is Revolution McInnes, and peace be with you, and namaste.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Revolution. I appreciate it.